Hey Vedat, Mike here. So we're going to take a look at your VFX artist showreel. And as I was saying in Louise's lecture, or in his critique as well, we're going to be trying something different. I'm going to put myself in a little box here in the corner. Just do a video critique this way instead of writing things down. I thought you guys might like this a little bit more. If you don't, if you hate it, if you hate my little face in my little box, let me know and I can update things. But I wanted to kind of go through this shot by shot and kind of talk to you about overarching stuff. There's some stuff that we cover in the getting your first job in the industry, and it covers some of the stuff that I'll be talking about. So this is going to kind of go hand in hand with that course. So first off, first impression, I like your title slide. Very simple, very straightforward. This is who you are. This is what you're looking for. There's your contact information below. It's on the screen for an appropriate amount of time, not too long, not too short, and I think that's a good place to start. The first thing that I want to see, though, when I start looking at a reel is overall, I love your breakdowns, your ability to include those. But generally speaking, I like to see the final shot first, then the breakdown, then the final shot again. Because when you're just given the breakdown at the beginning, you're not really sure what you're looking for or what you're building towards, like what the goal is. So you spend the time of the demo reel saying, I wonder where this is going, as opposed to, ooh, how did he do that? You know what I mean? Like it's a subtle thing, but it makes a big difference. So, and it's hard to know that when it's yours because you've seen it so many times. But for me, like this is the first time I'm seeing some of this stuff. So I want to see what the finished product is, then break down, and then play the finished product again. That being said, I like this start. I like the crew of dudes just like holding the green screen. It's always a great place to start. You're putting this space here. It's cool to show how you got the animation there. Cool to show you got the table. In terms of the technically, I'm seeing some matte lines around your body here. That was something that stood out when I first watched it. And let's see. Also, I'll let this play through. So there are some black point issues that I have with some of this stuff. Like specifically inside of this here feels darker than the surrounding. Like I figured that this and this will be roughly the same amount of black value. And because they're kind of facing the same way, there's similar structure. I actually don't know if this is open on this side or closed. I assume it's open, which means it would get even more light than this. And actually, it might even look somewhere around this region, except for this is white, so it bounces light a little more. Point being, this is a darker black point than anything else in the image. And something that my comp supervisor told me a long time ago, and I repeat this often, so you'll probably hear me say this time and again, is that when you're integrating things into a live action plate, the main things that you have to balance are the black points, the white points, and then if you can get the color, the film grain to match up as well. If you get those three things, you are 95% of the way there. And at this point, this object here, we're not quite matching up the black points. And yeah. So this effects element's cool. That stuff's cool. Let's take a look at the final now. This feels, I mean, again, might be my monitor, but this feels a little super jacked on the saturation and stuff. It's different than the raw footage that you shot, but I think you might have overcranked, especially the reds a little bit, and especially if somebody's viewing it on a television screen, which I don't know if anybody really does it anymore. Red values will really scream if they get anywhere near being too saturated on a TV monitor. So, is that there? We'll go over to this shot. This is, again, same deal with the breakdown setup thing. This one's interesting to me because there was like a jump here in the breakdown between, so it's like you're building up all of these around the outside here, and then all of a sudden it just kind of jumps to that and all this stuff is cleaned up. And I guess that just meant that you were getting these shapes in there, but I feel like there was a step missing that I wasn't quite wrapping my head around. And then same deal with this one. So it's just I'm not really sure. Let's just look at the final image here. I'm not really sure, like, as you're building this stuff up, like, so we're dealing with 3 different planes here. So there's like her plane, this level, and then this would be the outer roof, and that doesn't fully read to me right now as being 3 different levels. It feels like this level and this level are very close together, and actually when you were assembling pieces, it kind of looked like they were on top of each other. Like, it just looked like what we're seeing here is actually just on top of this stuff, but it's closer. It was just confusing when I was looking at it. And again, a little bit oversaturated here. I'd back off the saturation a little bit. And let's see what else. I would also, and this is a personal choice, but one of the things that I like to do is so it looks like all of the effects elements are happening right over her face, and the point of this shot is to read her reaction. So we'd want them kind of falling here and here, and not so much right over her eyes. So it's hard for us to make a connection to exactly what she's looking at there. Let's see. I think that's about it. Yeah, these feel a little bit bright in here. Just like these pieces feel the same brightness as these, and it's just, I'm not quite, and I guess that's what it is too. I mean, I guess they're from the same object. It's just I want to read this space out a little bit more, and it's just not feeling like 3 different levels to me yet. This one's cool. I like this guy. It's, again, play the whole thing through before we start doing the build up. This is nice how we get this stuff. One thing, let's see. So the sky becomes a little bit too bright in the end. It's similar to the plate. It's just a little bit more jacked up. An increase in value, so I would just watch that just a little bit and tone that back down. But all in all, I think this is a really cool shot. I would consider moving this up the ranking order, because usually when you're doing demo reels, you want to do your best work first, second best work at the end, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 layered in the middle there. And I'm trying to think. I think that's really all I had with this one, because I really like the work that you did on it. Okay, so moving on. So this one, I was confused a little bit about what I'm assuming this was the final plate, but I would just recommend putting in a little some tags to say what was done, because I could actually see them both being the final. Like, it would be, I think this is like a CG window that's in front of it on top of this plate, but it's a little bit it's a little confusing, because I'm just not sure what the final is. It would also be equally impressive if there was a window there and you painted it a way to look like this image. But so just add some labels on that. This guy is, I think, the weakest one on your demo reel, and if I would lose one, it would be this. It's like the technical achievement of this one versus what we're about to see, it doesn't line up at all. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I would go ahead and remove this one from your demo reel. This is like the classic first compositing assignment, the day to night thing. And I'm sure it was great practice for you. I'm sure you were able to achieve some aesthetic goals here. I just think that from a final product standpoint, this is your weakest, and I'm an honest, and I'm looking at the microphone now, I should be looking here, and I, as an honest observer and somebody who's got your best interests in mind, I would say that this would be something that you pull off. Okay, so moving on to this one. This last one is actually my favorite, so I would consider moving this one up more, because you did a lot of really cool work here. There's the sparks, there's the glowing on the insides, there's the crowd replacement. Everything's like really looking good and really shot well. You have a lot of stuff on your reel of people jumping through the roof. I don't know if you're aware of that. But I like this, these elements the best. I would just show these two shots first off, and same deal as always, show the final, then show the breakdown. In terms of like what I would change about it, I don't know if I would change all that much. Let's see this one again. Yeah, I would push. If it was me, I would push kind of the glowiness of this inside here a little bit more in some of these frames, or maybe make it a little bit more variable and pulsating, as if it's moving around in his body in 3D space, as it's getting closer to the skin and backing away further. These sparks, I'm guessing, are different than the object moving through his neck, because they're not really coordinating to the same movement, especially towards the end as they're getting up in this area, like up around his neck here, because it goes up his arm and then it moves past it and then it kind of jumps down into his hand. I would just, like, depending on the story point, depending on the direction there, I was just wondering, because in my head, like, those two actions would be the same. Yeah, other than that, you got to teach these guys how to look forward a little bit. They seem to be looking at his seat. Yeah, I like that shot a lot. So I would probably say, if I was ranking them, this one, and you guys can vote on them too. I would say this one's your best. I would say probably the tree second best. So I'd maybe put that at the end. These two I would put side by side, second to the end, and then this one maybe second. Although this isn't, depending, I mean, I would need to see a breakdown of that guy, but this feels a little bit more color grading than it does like all out compositing, which is cool, because it's hard when you're seeing a color grading or something like this in isolation with just like one shot. It's cool because you're getting a sense that you enhance the mood of a shot in order to fulfill a certain directorial look. But I would just like to see a little bit more in the breakdown of that kind of thing. Overall, I think you're off to a good start to your show reel. There's just, you just need a little more time to do more, develop more, implement more. And that's exactly what we're here for. So I keep looking at the microphone as if this is the camera. I'm looking back at you. So keep doing more, keep adjusting more, add some more stuff, add it to the Facebook group. I'll keep doing these video critiques, and I promise I'll get better at looking at the camera. And I think you're on the right path. It's just a matter of getting experience. So yeah, so that's what we're here for. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to seeing more of your work.